करवाने છો?
Yeah, I think we can start it.
Okay. So, hello everyone, and also the who are live over here. So, our today's topic is from sip to slip. Mainly, it's about the drinking problems. We are talking about only drinking, about the alcohol only, because it's very common today. We know about drugs, we know about different unhealthy habits, but when it comes to that topic, that cigarettes, drugs, we know that they are harmful and people are aware of that. But when it comes to alcohol drinking, people think that it's very usual, it's very common to drink, right? So that's the reason I have chosen this topic. First of all, before starting over this, do anyone of you have tasted it, alcohol?
Yes, I
Okay.
have tasted it.
How often?
No, only once, maybe twice. It tastes
Okay.
horrible.
Okay. Any one of you?
Sagar, you can
Sag.
say it. There is no need to. No need to.
Sagar.
I'll
No.
not judge.
Okay. Even I have tested it, and it's better that you are knowing about this before you have started it. Okay. So why this topic matters? Because nowadays alcohol consumption is socially accepted and even encouraged. It is glamorized all over the internet that yes, we went to Goa and we did the party, we had the hangover like for around 2 days. So these are all the things which are social media glamorizing about alcohol, even though in young adults and teenagers. So they are very attracted to it. They are thinking that this is very normal to drink nowadays, and but they are not. But they did not know that how will this be harmful in their later ages, right? Increase in the alcohol related issues such as addiction, liver disease, and of course, in the longer run, it creates mental health disorders also. And global health statistics also say that, such as WHO's report, that approximately 2.3 billion people worldwide drink alcohol, with around 5.1 of global deaths linked to alcohol use. So these are increasing day by day. That's why this topic is very necessary, and it's necessary to educate everyone about this drinking issues and how this is not that common. So how it all starts? So this is the main reason why first time we consume alcohol. There can be many reasons. It can be out of the curiosity, like when it comes to teenagers or young adults, we think that okay, alcohol is like a good thing. It we see on social media, or we see in very social parties or anything. So we start with one sip, or we start with one drink. It the peer pressure also, when we are socially gathered and we see that friend parties or any work parties, they drink after work, because we have now accepted the western culture. They do these things very commonly, and so we follow them. And due to that, this starts that let us take first sip, let us take, it's only one glass, it won't take much. It can be because of the stress or emotional pain also, right? And even it is because let's talk about some children, they grow in such an environment when they see their parents or their relatives that they are drinking on every occasion. So it becomes naturally common for them that okay, this is very common, I will also drink when I become of their age, right? So that can be the one reason a person can start drinking. It can be because of the stressful life experience, some heartbreaks, and some say that it can be because of the like permanent temporary solution for that, because you feel good out of that, you don't have any senses after that, right, Sagar? So this also can influence one to start drinking. The social aspect is a powerful motivator, especially for the young people who want to fit or alleviate their social discomfort. because it has become nowadays that if you are not drinking, then they are saying, why do you don't drink, why do you do like that? So, or some people who are not very friendly to each other, so they start by taking drink with that, because after drink you get friendly with people, you have that courage to speak in front of people. This can be also one reason why people can start drinking. Is this image? Yes. So how does the alcohol work in the body? What happens when we consume it, right? So here it comes that you drink alcohol, then it moves through your heart, it goes into your bloodstream, then most of the alcohol is absorbed through, it gets absorbed in small intestine 80% and it gets in the stomach 20%, right? And it is also said that on empty stomach, when we don't eat anything or drink alcohol, it get into the brain in 1 minute. Then once it is in our bloodstream, alcohol crosses the blood brain barrier and affect the brain. So after this all digestion, it went to the brain. As it is in our bloodstream, it goes to the brain as well. Alcohol in the brain increase the dopamine level. So dopamine is nothing that a feel good, yes, hormone of our body, that you feel very good, you feel very emotional, you feel like you are you are flying or anything. Then the brain sends signal to the increase heart rate and blood pressure. This can also be the effect of the alcohol. The liver then breaks down the alcohol so that it can leave the body, and it can be known as hangover also, because when liver digests it and your hangover gets like you start feeling normal when it is digested. These are the parts of our brain which are affected because of the alcohol consumption. Okay, this is the cerebral cortex, and mainly this is dependent for emotions and decision making. So usually when you are drunk or you are not able to make any decisions, uh, and another is cerebellum, this is the motor skills and coordination. So the people usually do not walk straight or are not able to walk straight because of this, because this part of our brain is affected. This is hippocampus, it's about learning and memories. This can be like after you consume it very, daily on the basis, this can affect you in the longer run as well. It's in the frontal lobe, attention and working memory as well, and because of that you did all the activities when you were drunk, you didn't remember it after a few days or after another day. So how the cycle of drinking is formed? First it comes the habit, it's the cue, the environment or emotional state that triggers the urge to drink. It can be any social meetings or any boredom or any stress or any curiosity, as we discussed in the first section. Because of this you start drinking, then it becomes your routine, because first you take the one time you take the first one glass, then after time you gather with your friends again, then you say okay, today I will try two, because my brain now my brain now has the more capacity to dissolve that. And then comes the reward after that, it's the positive feelings, the dopamine level, and making it more likely to be repeated. Then it's also about tolerance and dependency. Over time the brain becomes sensitive to alcohol, requiring larger amounts to feel the same effects, leading to escalating consumption. And because of that you start drinking more and more, because your brain now needs more amount of the alcohol to get the same effects which you were getting on one or two glasses. then it becomes your addiction. The cycle of drinking can sometimes becomes compulsive, and breaking the cycle without the professional help can become very difficult. What happens when drinking becomes a sleep? What are the mental effects of excessive drinking? I have seen many people which have lost their life because of just drinking habits. I can share you one story about the maid's son, which comes to our house for cleaning purposes. Uh, he was very healthy and very fit, but he has only this one habit. He started drinking at the younger age uh, because of his social circle. Then he started on drinking on regular basis, and every day in the morning till the night he wants something to drink. And as they have the financial issues that time, so there are the qualities of drink, so he started the lower qualities, and when you drink that you get more dopamine level, and because of that it affects you in the longer run, your liver, your brain. And what are the psychological symptoms of that? It can be increased anxiety, depression. It can be the feelings of guilt as well. Like I have it have become the habit of me to drink regularly. So I will come. I will be in the guilt, like shit. Today also I have drink it because I was trying to quit it, but when the time came, the frame came, my mind usually um, want that. So I took that. When I came home I was like, okay, I'm in the guilt, and the same cycle goes on repeating. So the thing which was first started as a fun then now becomes a habit. Addiction, a person becomes psychologically dependent on the alcohol, leading to the cravings and the loss of control, often despite negative consequences. It can be relationship problems, health problems, but still they go on continuing the same thing because now their body don't need it, their mind need it. Then it comes the struggle to quit. It can be withdrawal symptoms, like many people start to quit it, but they see that when the frame of that, like if they are drinking at the evening, and when the evening starts they feel like there's something, some sensations in their body that they want this. It can be emotional irritability, anxiety, depression. They are sometimes get irritated, and because of that they again start drinking. Cycle of guilt and relapse, as we discussed further. Initial guilt after drinking leads to promises to quit. Cravings overpower intentions, leading to relapse.
Relapse is? What is relapse? Do you know the word? What? What is it? So relapse is if you've promised to yourself that okay, I am not drinking from today, and then again you start drinking, or you do the thing that you promised not to do. It is called a relapse. That you were doing something and then you quit doing that in between. So whenever you promise to quit and then again you still do it from one time, it is called relapse.
And it is seen that in our society people usually there are many sort of diseases, and this can be one of the diseases as well, that they are like a what it can be said, they need this to survive, their brain needs this to survive. So people ask such questions that why can't you quit this is very normal, you can quit it. But when it comes to them, they know that how hard it is for them to quit that. So it can get strain on relationships, loss of self esteem, and isolation. Then there are medical aspects of alcohol addiction, which I mentioned this, that alcohol use disorder, they are addicted to it, defined by an inability to control drinking despite negative consequences. Like they are not able, their mind is not in their control. The symptoms can be cravings, withdrawal, and the neglect of responsibilities. There can be also the physical problems because of that, liver damage, health problems, brain damage, increased risk of cancers, and weakened immunity because of that. And now comes mainly for the early habits. What are the role of the early habits when a person start drinking from the early age? Because of that, their brain development vulnerability, like during adolescence, there is we don't have that much of our intuition, like we don't have that we don't know that this is right or this is wrong.
What is adolescence? Have you heard of that word before, adolescence? No? It is your job to tell. If you are using heavy words, you have to explain the heavy words as well. Or else they will skip. How will they learn the new words?
It's teenagers.
The main problem
different.
is not to teach them alcohol. They are not drinking. They are English. The main issue is to teach them English right now. Adolescence is Javani, like the teenage years.
Teenagers.
The years in which your brain is getting developed. So the age of from, let's say, not just teenage, but from 10 to 20. That's the age of adolescence period.
During adolescence, the brain undergoes significant growth and pruning. Pruning is like the sense of knowledge that this is right or this is wrong. And drinking can disrupts this process, can damage this process, particularly in some parts which is known as the prefrontal cortex, which governs the decision making and impulse control. Risk of dependencies. Studies show how the individuals who start drinking before the age of 15 are 4 times more likely to develop alcohol dependencies later in life compared to those who start after 21. Because at this age, you know that what is good for yourself and what is not. So you will start thinking about that no, this amount is good and this amount is not good. You will feel that this alcohol has like they have, it has discovered your brain and you will stop. And but when you start at the earlier age, it's very difficult because it has already formed addiction. Why addictions forms more easily in youth? Because adolescents experience stronger dopamine responses, making alcohol more reinforcing. Immature prefrontal cortex leads to poor decision making and risk taking behavior. Social acceptance and group dynamics heavily influence drinking behaviors. Now it comes how to break the cycle. There are many medical interventions like naltrexone. These are they are not. I have not tried any. Naltrexone, acamprosate, and disulfiram. Yes.
All these are what? These are name of medicines. So if you want to break this kind of gives it. But it is not recommended to take any of this. I'll explain what this do later on.
This creates like a it activates your brain to not like that thing. I have heard it. Then that comes that you have to identify and change the negative thought patterns, encouraging internal motivation to quit. You need some reason to quit this, and you can of course join the professional help as well. Then comes the prevent this all are the things which like for the people who have already been addicted to that. But this come the preventive measures for us, like understand that the alcohol hijacks the brain reward system, creating a false sense of pressure. It's not true that whatever you are feeling it's a temporary thing. So you have to think that how much to drink. It's not that you should quit fully or you should not drink at all, but you should know that this can be the things alcohol can do to you. And because of that, and if you are aware to that, you will know that how much to drink and how much to not. Recognize early signs of dependence and address them immediately. Stay informed about the long term impacts of the drinking on brain development and health. Resist peer pressure by practicing some good or the positive responses to decline alcohol. Seek alternative activities for social bonding, such as sports or creative hobbies, rather than drinking. Avoid normalizing alcohol as a coping mechanism for stress or celebration. Right? Healthy behaviors, monitor and limit alcohol intake. Mainly, these are, I think, that many friends who are abroad, they think that whenever they meet, they do a drinking party or they. So, these are for them that every time you do the celebration, the topic should not only be alcohol. That's it from my side.
Any questions?
Yeah, questions are
No
welcome.
questions. You understood the harmful effects of alcohol. So I strongly suspect that any of you will pick up this thing. Okay. You can take a sip.
Yeah.
Okay, and today I was going to talk about something else, but we can do that later on. Next session. Today I'll talk about this habit loop itself. Good topic raised by Ishita. Yep. Okay. Hello, hello. Yeah, here we go. Just hello. Okay, let's do that. Let's talk about habit loop. So, there in a slide, Ishita mentioned there were 3 stages of any habit. What were the 3 stages? You just saw that 5 minutes ago. Then this is called the habit loop. So, habit loop, what does habit loop mean? Habit loop means it starts with cue. Cue is what? Cue is anything that you can perceive from the 5 senses. So, we'll keep the stick person always with us. You should burn this image in your head. If you keep this in your head, a lot of things in your life will be automatically solved. Okay, this is the stick person. Okay, what are this? Hear, see, smell, taste, touch. Okay, so what happens is you see a cue. What is cue? Anything that you can hear, see, smell, taste, touch. So any habit starts with a cue, and cue is always external. The cue is not internal, it is always external. So what happens is, for example, in case of alcohol, celebration, party, stress, what are these? These are cues in the external world. Okay, I have got this bad result, I've got this bad relationship, I've got this stress, I have to deal with this. Anything external that you can perceive with your senses is a cue. So it starts off with the cue. Then what happens is you do the routine. Routine is what? Taking the bottle out of your refrigerator, opening the glass, opening the bottle, pouring it in the glass, and then drinking it. That's the routine. And what is a reward here? Reward happens within your brain. It releases something as known as dopamine. She talked about that, right? What is dopamine? Dopamine is a hormone that is secreted from your brain, which signals that okay, there is something to feel good about. It gives you a sense of achievement. But in case of alcohol, there is no actual achievement. You've not achieved anything, right? You just drank a glass. So what is your achievement in that? But it gives you a false sense of reward. So the brain feels good for certain period of time. And the dopamine, how it works is there is a baseline. Every time you get a dopamine hike, this is called a hike or dopamine spike, then the brain adjusts to the dopamine base levels. Now this is called as base level, right? And this is a spike. Now every time what will happen is every time you do this spike, the new base level will change to the level which was already happening. If the brain feels that okay, this is the constant level of dopamine I'm getting, I need to increase my base level. Now if the base level is increased, then as you said that you will not get satisfied from one drink, then you have to go for the second one. This is the same case with not just drinking, it is the same case with smoking. Are any of you smoking cigarettes? Smoking, drinking, drugs, any kind of drugs that you do, it can be through smoking, it can be through injection, it can be through taking medicine, anything you do, all it does is release is dopamine. And once the dopamine is released, the brain responds to it. The receptors are also in the brain. Thus, the release where the part which releases the hormones is also in the brain. So everything that is going on happens in your brain. That is the reward. This is an external thing. This is an internal thing. That reward that happens within you is a motivator for doing it again. For an example, if there is a stove and you put your hand on it, what happens is instant punishment. It you get burned. You put your hand. Will you put your hand again there? Or so if there is a electricity leakage and if you click and you get a shock, will you put your hand again there? Why not? Because you got an instant punishment. Similarly, because the punishment happens here, you know that okay, this is not to be done. What happens in case of alcohol or in case of any such habits is because there is no punishment, there is a reward, and the reward is internal. That gives us the motivation that okay, we should do it again. And that is what brings us into this habit loop, that you keep on getting the cues, you keep on doing the routine, and you keep on getting the reward. But it is a vicious cycle. As you said, it is not something which is productive. It is not going to help you in any case. It is only going to affect you. And you have mentioned the ways in which it affects you. The part that I want to talk to you about is how to break out of that loop. So some of the things that were mentioned in the slide, one of the things I've read about this in the book Atomic Habits. So in Atomic Habits, he explains that okay, how can you break? So you can break either of these three. These are the three things that is happening in any kind of habit. So first is cue. So first of all, this is not just about drinking. I'm talking about any bad habit, any habit that you don't want in your life. What is the cue of that habit? Why am I doing the routine? What is my motivator for it? So the cue can be, let's say, as you said, social circle. So first is delete the cue. Delete the cue means in your life you should consciously make effort to remove the cues from your life. So for example, for some people they don't need somebody else to drink with them. If they see the bottle, it automatically creates the desire for them to take that bottle and pour a drink. So remove the bottle from your side. You don't see the bottle, right? If there is no bottle, then it creates a resistance in it. Delete the cue. So the cue is difficult. Second is so that's the first step. You remove the cue. You try to bring yourself out from the situations which might trigger you to do the routine. Second is make the routine hard. Make the routine hard. That means now how easy it is for you to do the habit. Okay, if there is already a bottle in my refrigerator, then it is not very hard. I can just open the door, take out the bottle and pour myself a drink. So that is very easy. Make the routine hard. The bottle is in the bar, okay, or whatever, the shop. I have to go there, purchase it. It's far away. Which means if the routine is hard, then the motivation to do the routine goes away. That means to do the routine, make it very hard. Hide your glasses. Don't keep bottles in your home. Don't keep drinks in your home. Don't do any kind of habits that you want. So this works for any case. So whatever your routine is, make the routine hard. And if you make the routine hard, the brain has to make a decision now that okay, am I willing to drive, go there, purchase a bottle, come back home and then pour a drink? Is that too long of an approach? Then I should maybe try to do something else. Third is reframe your rewards. What is reframing your rewards? The rewards that you get, dopamine, as you said, it is giving a feel good factor. But as you said, that after the dopamine hit, the spike goes off. When the brain resets to its base level, then you'll start feeling guilt. Why did I do this? I should have not done it. I should have not relapsed. I was going on a streak for 1 month and then I relapsed. I was going on a streak for a week and then I relapsed. So any kind of relapsing that happens, then you reframe your rewards. Reframe your rewards means you tell your brain, this is through affirmations and all, that this reward is not worth chasing. You should feel inside your brain that this is an artificial pleasure. This is not the real pleasure. How can you do that? You should try to get real pleasure. So what is real pleasure? So real pleasure comes from achieving something in your life. How does dopamine get released? Naturally, without any such substance. It gets released when you achieve something. So the very easy way to do is play a sport. Yeah, you play with your younger siblings. You can beat them easily and I don't know if you, but it will kind of generate the dopamine in your brain. Or you beat some of your peers. Any kind of game. You play carom, you play chess, I don't know, don't mind any game. You play cricket. Yeah, run the code without error. That is also going to release dopamine in you. Good example. So any such thing that you do which feels like an achievement, that okay, yes, I've done this, yes, I've done this, that will release the dopamine in your brain. And what you can consciously do is, when it that reward happens, you reinforce that, okay, this is the correct reward for me. So when you start reframing your rewards, that okay, now the correct reward for my brain is to run a code without errors, or run 2 kilometers at a stretch without stopping, or run 5 kilometers, or walk for 10,000 steps, or run for 10,000 steps without stopping. If those are your rewards, if you reframe your routines that okay, this is my reward, that okay, I have to complete 10,000 steps every day. If that's your goal and you complete it, and that's the reward that you get, then it works in the reinforcing way as well. 10,000 steps, 10,000 steps, 10,000 steps, now that becomes the base level. Now your brain will say, okay, now let's go for 20,000 steps, which means it is a positive reinforcement system. Similarly with weights. So if you go to gym, then you lift, let's say 50 kg deadlift. I'm just talking about deadlift. That's the standard benchmark. If you lift 50 kgs, then the next goal should be 75, should be 100. So what that happens is your brain feels that okay, I'm getting stronger, and that increases this dopamine red line, and that is good for your body. So the brain, when it gets that kind of positive reinforcements, it is helpful for our body, and you are doing it without any external substances. That is why it is much more helpful for you in the longer run. So these are the three parameters that we have: cue, routine, and reward. You can change each one of them in any habit. You change the cue, or you change the routine, or you change the reward, in any case. And there is an interesting approach with this as well. It is called have you heard of this term? I'll just write it in different letters so that you understand. What is this? Delayed gratification. Have you heard of this term? Sagar? No? Have you heard of this term? Yeah, what does that mean? Where have you heard it? Okay, I'll explain to you very easily. So we had this example that okay, if I touch the hot stove, I get the response immediately. So I have to pull my hand immediately back. Okay. So I know that okay, when I get the response immediately, my brain works very quickly. But our brain is not programmed to work in case of delayed gratification. Delayed gratification means what? That I do the action today, but the results I will get after 1 month, after 1.5 months, 2 months. For example, you study for the exam today. You're not going to get the result tomorrow, right? You do the exam, you appear for the exam, then the results come after 1 month, 1.5 months, 2 months. So that is called delayed gratification. If you can train your brain to wait for the gratification, that means that okay, you do the, so for example, you go to the gym today, you do the weightlifting. Do you get ripped in one day? Do you get fit in one day? No. If you run for 10 kilometers in a day, do you get weight loss in one day? No. Why? Because those processes take time to happen. So it is delayed gratification, that I need to do it today, tomorrow, next day, until 1 month, and then I will get the result. So if you can train your brain to go for delayed gratification, in any case, this is not just about fitness or goals or any one of this. In any case, if you train your brain to go for delayed gratification, that okay, you do the hard things today and you'll get the result not today, not tomorrow, but let's say in a week, in a month, like that. The brain is not conditioned to do that by default. By default, it wants instant gratification. So the opposite of delayed is instant gratification. So what it looks for is instant hits, instant responses. If it does not get it in instant, then it tries to avoid it. So that is why it is very hard to build up new habits. Why is it not easy to just start gym and keep on following it? Because there is a lot of problems. You don't see the results in one day. You don't see results in 1 week. You need to persist through, and then only you will be able to see the result. Okay. And why is it easy to build habits with instant gratification? So, for example, how many of you scroll Instagram? You open Instagram reels and suddenly half an hour is gone. Why does half an hour go and you are not able to track this and you don't get a sense of time? Because it is instant gratification. You're getting a new thing every second. With every swipe on the reel tab, you are getting a new hit, new thing, new joke, new meme, new gossip, right? So with each swipe, you're getting a new information. Your brain is getting a dopamine, small hits. That is what keeps you hooked. If you give your brain small hits like this, it gets hooked on that, and it will keep on going that until the brain runs out of dopamine. Notice this. When do you stop scrolling? Have you noticed this? This is very small things, but you have to keep your tabs on it. That okay, when did I stop scrolling? I started scrolling. Yes. What gets tired? You are not tired of scrolling. Your hand is not tired. Your brain is tired. Why is the brain tired? Because it has run out of dopamine. There is a fixed stock of dopamine hormones in your brain that get exhausted when you're scrolling the reel. So anything that you consume on the internet, it is using your brain, it is using the senses. You are hearing it, you are seeing it, right? So everything is happening, and you are processing that information. You are getting these hits, and that hits keep on happening for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever time you're scrolling, and then your brain gets fried. That's the term used for it, brain fried. So it says, okay, let's stop it, and then you're not able to see it for some point. The dopamine gets recharged automatically, 1 hour, 2 hour, then again then again start scrolling. This is not just the thing with you. I also if I go to Twitter or if I go to Instagram, same thing happens with me, because the algorithm is designed in such a way that to keep you hooked. I'll explain the social media strategy as well in one of our. It is called hook, anticipation, and reward. It uses a similar kind of thing to keep you hooked on the reel. What will they do is cue. What is cue? A hook or something which keeps you on the reel. So they'll start something with an outrageous statement or something interesting or something which like, okay, what is this, like that. So it keeps you hooked. It is called a hook. Then what will they do is they will keep an anticipation. They'll not reveal what the actual answer is until the end. And the end they'll reveal, okay, this is the thing which they showed you. So they kind of keep you in this loop for 20 seconds, 30 seconds. That's the time that you see a reel, and then you scroll up, use another hook, another anticipation, another reward. It's like a treadmill for the brain, and the brain gets tired on a treadmill after 30 minutes. So that is called doom scrolling in today's terms. But that happens due to instant gratification. When you train your brain to do delayed gratification, this has to happen by training. That does not happen on its own. You have to train your brain to go for delayed gratification. For example, when I started this company, so when I was alone, I was just doing the coding myself. I was servicing all the clients. Did I get the results in one day, or when I thought that okay, tomorrow I'm going to spend all the money and do this and do that? That doesn't happen, right? It takes 3 years, 4 years to build anything. We had this office after 4 years. So before this, we did not have our own office. So for 4 years, we had to pull up all the resources and get this office done. Similarly, if you want to grow in any phase of your life, delayed gratification is the name of the game. If you program your brain to do this repeatedly, what will happen is, in any kind of task, you will not get exhausted in between, because you are pumping up your brain that okay, I know I'm putting in the work right now, I'm not getting the results right now, but I will get those results later on. If you can keep your brain in that anticipation state that I am going to get rewards, keep pushing for it, that's when the brain works in the most coherent manner. That is what they have found through this all the research and everything. Instant gratification, what happens is, if you do instant gratification, your brain gets fried and there is no motivation left to do new things. Okay, so these are the three things: cue, routine, reward. You have to break any one of them to break the habit, and that is how you will be able to change your habits. and it is always change your habits. It is never stop your habits. What does that mean? Change means you have to replace that with another. If you don't replace it with anyone, you'll almost or every time go back to the old one, because the brain still needs the dopamine, right? It is now addicted to the dopamine. So you're not giving it the dopamine through alcohol or any smoking or whatever. Now you have to give it through something else. So what is that something going to be? That you need to figure out. Is it coding? Is it playing a sport? Is it going to the gym? Is it running? All those things give. One last point, eating also gives dopamine. What happens is, because eating, biologically eating is, it is like a fundamental life, what we can say, life sustaining activity. If we don't eat, we are not going to sustain our life. So there is a reward for eating as well, and that is also what causes overeating in people. What happens is, you might have seen someone that, okay, I'm trying to do weight loss, but I'm not able to control my urges. Why can they control the urges? Because when they eat, there is a dopamine spike. When they eat sweet things, there is a dopamine spike. In any case, if you do something and there is a dopamine spike, it is very hard to let it go or change it. So that is why also people, keep on eating is also one of the tasks. Another is orgasm. You know what is orgasm? You know what is orgasm. So what happens is, that is also a biological reward, and that is also what creates this dopamine hits. And that is why also those kind of activities also create a lot of problem to break out of, because the brain gets addicted to those. Whenever there is an orgasm in the brain, it is like a dopamine explosion. So the brain gets addicted to it, and that is why to break out those kind of habits, it is also very difficult. But what it is said is, in any case, if you want to build any habit, this is the same strategy. If you want to break any habit, this is the same strategy. Okay, I have to leave now, so we'll conclude the session today. Any doubts in this habit cube? This is a good time to evaluate your habits. We talked about system versus goals, right, in 2025. So systems is habits. So you should start looking into your own habits and see that which are the habits that you can replace with more good ones. Okay, no doubts, no questions. Okay, nice. Then we'll save this. Okay, then see you guys in the next session.